So, you all are welcome to the 7th session of the digital business strategy. So, up to now we have completed 6 sessions. So, I hope that everybody has understood about the details I have given, and also I have given so many reference in the presentation, videos, and also some other documentation. So, and in addition to that, I have highlighted some points as keyword in the presentation. So, when you study that, please remember those keywords, because sometimes those will be highlighted in the examination. So, so we will start today's this session as the 7th session. So, earlier we stopped at the e-procurement slide. So, we will continue from that onward. We learnt about e-procurement. Now, so what are the benefits of e-procurement? Cost reduction. The e-procurement reduce the cost. How it happens? It might include process efficiencies, reduction in the actual cost, goods and services, and reduce purchasing agent overhead. When there are the overhead related to purchasing, it means when you are doing the purchasing, there can be so many expenses, other expenses. So, that can be reduced in e-procurement, because you are using the electronic media in order to procure the goods. Reduce inventory levels. The inventory levels can be reduced. Knowing product numbers, bid prices, and contact points can help business close a deal while other suppliers are struggling to gather their relevant knowledge. So, if the inventory is not sufficient, that can lead to close the business event. Therefore, having a very good inventory is the main requirement in the production process. So, that minimum inventory can be at a minimum level, because e-procurement very speed, and through the e-procurement we can procure good easily. Control. The ability to control inventory is more efficiency. As said here, we can control the inventory very efficiently. We don't need to keep more stock. So, minimum stock can be kept, and when it comes to reorder level, that can be order efficiency in an instant manner. So, we have much more control in e-procurement. Wider choice of supplier. We don't need to rely on one supplier or two. We can have much more suppliers, and also prices can be verified and compared, and we can go with the low price, high quality. So, suppliers are not related into one locations. They can be anywhere in the world. Sometimes you may be procuring some goods from Sri Lanka in manual way, but in this e-procurement method, you can go up to the suppliers in other countries. We can compare the prices and bring their goods. Normally, that differentiation in the in region wise, the country wise, so there are so many benefits that you can gain. So, there is a wider choice of suppliers. Improved manufacturing cycle. Moving to e-sourcing speed up the sourcing process dramatically, but the increase of efficiency and speed. So, by using the e-procurement, that provide more efficiency. So, manufacturing cycle, it will be going like a cycle, right. You have to produce the goods from here, then it going. So, that cycle speed can be speed up with this e-procurement, because activities involved in the e-procurement can be speed up, then it takes very less time to procure, then the manufacturing cycle also will increase in time. What is e-sourcing? E-sourcing is the process of obtaining bid from different suppliers via single online portal. The benefits of e-sourcing include streaming and sourcing process. So, in the e-sourcing, that the different suppliers can bid in the website. So, from a single portal. So, the process of obtaining bid from different supplier can obtain the bids from different suppliers. You do not have to rely on one or two suppliers. So, the e-sourcing is a very good thing which speed up the manufacturing process. Advantages of e-procurement. We talked about earlier, benefit. Advantages of e-commerce. Overcome geographical limitations. E-commerce has overcome geographical limitations. It means we have explained it in the earlier slide also. So, there is no any limitation in the locations. It can be in the Sri Lanka, in anywhere in the region of Sri Lanka, or else in other countries. That gain new customers with search engine visibility. The search engines are visible, so can gain new customers through the search engine. Lower cost. Locate the product quicker. In the e-commerce, cost can be lower, and locate the product quicker. Quickly can locate the product. In e-commerce, product can be locate very quickly, instantly, but you do not need to manually switch into the companies. So, in the internet you can switch instantly. Eliminate travel time and cost. In traveling, there is a high involvement in cost. You have to spend much more money for traveling. In order to buy one product, you may have to travel about 10 kilometers, but using e-commerce, you can do it through the web. That does not cost. Provide comparison shopping. So, in shopping, let us say you are shopping in a shopping mall website. So, there is a comparisons. So, product can be compared, prices can be compared. NML deals, bargains, coupon and group buyings. So, when you buy more products, sometimes they can be given some discount and coupon, and when you buy more product as a group, they also can give so many benefit. So, and bargaining power also there when you are going to bid in the website to purchase a product. Provide plenty of information. The information are not limited to one organization. There are so many information which is available, and also in the web presence. So, all the information can be included in the website. So, customers can go and look it. So, no need to when you explain it verbally or when you make it visible in a board or somewhere. So, all the information cannot be shown, but in this manner, so plenty of information can be provided for customers to view. Disadvantages of e-commerce. What are the disadvantages? So, we talk about much more advantages earlier. So, there are some disadvantages as well. E-commerce involves an unusual mix of people. So, earlier you made targeting of one or two category of people, but now it is open for everybody. Therefore, there can be a mix of people, and then what will come? Security. We have to secure web. So, web technology designers, marketing people, and this can be very difficult to manage. It means when there are more customers in different categories, so security wise there is a high risk for the company in order to maintain the website, the e-business and e-commerce in a secured manner. So, e-business needs supervision by expensive specialists. Normally, in today's job market, we have to pay higher salaries for the security, IT security guys, and also for the other people who are involved in administering the website and managing this website. Therefore, there is a higher cost involved for paying their salaries. So, it means those are the disadvantages actually e-commerce have. So, we completed the 6th chapter. So, we are now we can learn about the content of 7th chapter. Business environment in 21st century. Now we are in the 21st century. So, we will talk about the business environment. Internal environment. The environment with the organization which operates or influences what they do and their ability to survive and grow. Internal environment means is within the organization. The organization, the environment can be changed with the e-business. So, includes all factors, parties, forces within the organization who influence to organizational activities. So, organization structure and employees structured in the organization. So, those things sometimes has to be changed, and whatever the things are doing in the organization that affect to the employees and the structure of the organization. So, in the internal environment is within the organization. External environment. So, an external environment is composed of all the outside factors or influences that impact the operations of business. All the outside factors. It does not concern about internal factors, it concerned about outside factors. The external environment can be broken down into two types, micro and macro. Those are the two environment, micro and macro environment. Macro environment. What is this macro environment and micro environment? The general environment, the macro environment which covers all the political, legal, economic, social and cultural and technological forces which affects not only individual organization but also the other factors in the micro environment. So, this is the PES analysis. According to the PES analysis, political, legal, economic, social, cultural and technological involvement is there. So, micro environment, the task environment, that is the task environment, the macro environment is the general environment, the micro environment is the task environment. Relate to the factors in an organization immediate environment which affect its ability to operate efficiently and is chosen in the cut. such as customers, competitors, distributors and suppliers. From this example, you can identify what is this macro environment is. Customers, competitors, distributors and suppliers, they are the external parties who are involved in the organization, with the organization. And in the sometime in the question paper, this task environment will be taken as a keyword to ask questions. So you can remember that one. Pest analysis. So we call about pest here. The pest has two types, pest and pestle. Pest is the initial one, then other two categories were involved. So let's talk about what is pest is. Analyze the macro environment. So pest is analyzing what? Macro environment, and to identify the opportunities and threats which could affect the organization. In the organization, there can be so many opportunities that the organization can look into. In the economic and social environment, technological environment, political environment. So there are so many opportunities that the organization can look into. Let's say that the organization is looking into obtaining a ERP, purchasing ERP as a new technological involvement, but that can be affected badly in the organization as well, and also there can be so many opportunities that will come with the technological implementation. And in the political ground, so there can be so many threats because of political influences and also let's say government change. Sometimes that can be a threat for your organization. And economically, the economy can be going downward, then your product of the prices also will be affected. So then sometimes you will have to reduce the prices, sometimes your economy scale going down. So your income, the company income will be reduced. So because of the economy, the people have no money, so they are not going to buy your products. Then because of economic conditions, that affects the organization as a threat, or else that can be affected as an opportunity. In the social environment also, social incidents which happen in the environment can also be affected to the organization. In today's environment is that due to the COVID-19 virus, there were so many social environment which have badly affected. So people cannot deal with the companies to buy products, and also that has become a very threat, higher threat to the organizations to survive in the industry. And those who have much more money, those who are rich in the organization, the rich organization, sometimes they can survive, but small organizations sometimes they will be demolished. And there can be so many opportunities, but now because of the social environment affection, so those opportunities can be downward. So I think you got a very good idea about that. Pestle. In the pestle, only two things were included. In addition to this pestle, there were PEST, pest. So again EL, environment and legal. So environment, that can be internal environment, external environment. So there can be so many opportunities and threats. And also legal platform. Though sometimes as you have seen that during these days, there are so many prices, the consumable goods has more price reductions. So government has enforced that the price of a certain product should be this much. Therefore that's a legal requirement. Legally they have informed all the sellers to restrict the prices into that level. So that's the legal requirement that can be mainly effective to your organization. So those are the things involved in this pestle. Let's talk about political. So I gave a very good idea about that, though I will go with this side as a summary. And government politics, political and legal environment, what is that? Government and policies affect national economies, and government are responsible for creating and maintaining stable framework in which business can be carried out. If the government has not established a very good stable environment, what will happen is the companies cannot handle their business in a profitable manner. So that affect to the organizations. Let's say government policies can be important in relation to physical and infrastructure, transport, broadband network, social infrastructure, education, welfare, law enforcement, equal opportunities, tax and trade regulations. So normally sometimes they will be reducing the tax for the companies, so that will be affected to the organization. And also there can be transport limitations, improvement of the transport and broadband network charges and giving it free, or those kind of things definitely influence the organization in a positive or negative way. And trade regulations, so if there are more trade regulations, the company cannot bring import goods from outside countries. So if there are trade regulations, that will badly affect the organization. Let's say you are now you are importing some vehicle, so there are can be so many restrictions to limit the vehicle importation. So government decided to let's say government decided to create the develop Sri Lankan on the Sri Lankan cars. So in that way they are going to limit the limit the importation of cars. Political stability in a country can also affect the macroeconomic environment. Change of the government, as I said earlier also. So due to the change of the government, that has actually significant effect. That sometimes the company deal in many ways with the government. Sometimes some are saying that government is not supporting to our organization, but in general government put some rules and regulation that can affect to the organization in a positive or a negative way. So political stability in the country is mainly affect to the organization in dealing with the customers. So if the country has a very good political stability, it means the political background is stabilized in a very good way. The organization has enough freedoms to sell the product in the market, and there is no any barriers. So political stability is a very main concern here. Economic. A business can be affected by national and international economic factors. There can be national and international economics. So due to the international economic factors, due to importation of goods or some other linkages we have with the international market, that can be affected to the organization business. In the national crisis, so whatever the incidents happen in national level, also as factors will be affected to the organization. Those are as inflation, interest rate, exchange rate, so employment level, business cycle and trend in national income, international trade. So those are the things that the organization should be concerned on when doing the business. And international trade is the exchange of capital, goods and services across international borders. So in order to give you a very good idea about the economic economic in the country, which that you have to concern much more things like these things in the business. As an example, employment level. So I have given some links here, so you can refer to that one, and also business cycle. I have given a video one, so I will open it, but I am not going to detail about this one, because you can see the content of that and get much more idea. So wait for a minute. So in the government that they have published in the economic statistical. So if you refer to this one, that there are so many employment, population and gender wise, those are the good factors that you can use in order to understand about the economic background of the country. So if we go to page number 27, yes, in the page number 27, manpower, how the manpower is there, professional level, middle level. So those are the things that given by the statistical report. So what I am telling is that you can refer to the statistical report, get some idea about the statistics, and you know that how that affect to the organization. And also here you can see age group wise details are there, and unemployability, and those are the things. And let's see what the business cycle is.
The fluctuations of gross domestic product around its natural growth rate. It includes both expansion and contraction in economic activity. Let's take a closer look at what a business cycle really is. It consists of sequences, so it could have a boom, which is characterized as a period of economic growth or rising gross domestic product. It could also be measured as a recession, which is a period of shrinking economic activity. At the end of the day, stages of the business cycle are measured in terms of GDP. Let's look at each of the stages in more detail. The expansion phase or growth phase has positive economic indicators such as high employment, high incomes, and high demand for goods and services. Now let's look at the peak. At the peak of the economic cycle, the economy reaches saturation, which means growth has started to slow down and halt. Prices are at their peak and consumption is at its maximum level. Then things slow down with a recession. During a period of recession, there is less demand for goods and services. Economic indicators start to decline, including things like income and wages. And typically, a recession is measured as 2 or more quarters of declining gross domestic product. Continuing on, we can have a depression if there is a prolonged recession. Depressions do not happen in every economic cycle. They are extremely rare and only happen during very, very severe recessions. The trough is the bottom point of this cycle, and it is the point at which things turn around and start growing again, which leads to a recovery. This is where demand starts to pick up due to low prices and supply starts reacting. Employment starts rising and there is investments made in businesses. And this cycle continues to repeat over and over again, forming the overall business cycle of the economy. Thank you for joining us for this quick tutorial on the business cycle. Or
in here that you can see in here you can see that the business cycle which affect to the organization, initially that will be increasing. There's a peak time, then the recession is there, it's going down, and then depression is there, and then and then it recover, then it goes expansion, peak, recession. So this is the business cycle which any organization can have. So this video, I think that it is given a very good understanding about that. So through these statistical details which I have given to you, you can understand about the unemployment levels in the organization. I'll draw it and show it to you that that will be easy for you to understand. So in the statistic there can be let's say unemployability, in the unemployment, if we take the education level from grade 1 to 5 and also 5 to 8 and 8 to O level and A level above. Normally earlier in early days, let's say 2000, in the year 2000, that can be this is very higher, this is in a very higher rate, let's say 2020. Now it is reduced, let's say it is the percentage is if it is 10%, now it is 2% unemployed. So this those who have studied up to from 1 to 5 years are very less now, but in here those who have studies above A level, there can be highest number of and very minimum. It means very small number of people are there, very high number of people are there. Sorry, here it should be low, here high, because in 2020 there can be more people who have done A level and above, but it's 2000 there can be very minimum people, and also here can be so many people who have done from age from year 1 to 5, it means grade 1 to 5, 5 to 8 also like that, and also O level people sometimes that can be more than this one. But what will happen is nowadays when it comes to unemployment, what has happened is that unemployment has reduced in these categories. Then what has happened to this category? There is a high level of unemployment in this category. It means those who have studied and those who have degrees and masters, there is unemployment. So there is a risk there. It is because we don't have these people. They are the people, sometimes they will be doing the labor work. So it is not easy, you know that it is not easy to find the laborers now. Therefore, most of the organization, those who are dealing with the laborers, it means those who work in the organization for doing some labor works. So it is not easy to find them. Therefore, there is no any unemployment. They have the jobs, labor jobs. And also those who have done the degree levels, more than the degree and masters, now the unemployment rate is going up. So what you have to gain from this explanation is, when you are doing business, you can consider about these factors. There are much more unemployment. So when the organization doing the products, when they are dealing in the market, those things can be analysis. Then in the statistical report, you can see this example, and also there are so many examples in the in Sri Lanka. They have studied it. So interest rate, inflation, exchange rate, there are so many other categories of information. So that deal with the economics. Let's talk about the next one, the social factors. Demographics factors and cultural factors are important for understanding the market and developing marketing strategies. They can also be important in developing an organization HR policies. So the factors like income distribution, level of education. So I talk about the level of education here. So that example you can take into this one also. So based on the level of education, so you can decide your business decisions. So what decision has to be taken? Income distribution and attitude to work and leisure, and attitude to consumption and lifestyle choices. And these lifestyle choices, most of the organizations are now looking at the lifestyle of the customers, how they behave, their habits, what are the items that they are going to buy. If they are going to a supermarket, the wife will buy some of the good, but the husband will buy something else. So the product that the person is buying can link with the other product as well. As I said you, the normal example is that if you are going to buy a arak bottle, so you will be definitely buying a soda or Coca-Cola. So there's a choice. So those choices can be taken by the organization for their decision making. We talk about income distribution within the organization. When they are dealing with the customer, they must study the income distribution of the country, how the income is distributed, whether the product, before you are launching the product, you have to identify whether that product price is suitable for the generation. So otherwise you will be failing. So income distribution of the people, and also level of education. So the what target you have. So are you targeting about the people who are educated or not educated? If you are targeting about the uneducated people, there is a high involvement from your side. So, you have to deal with many difficulties. So, if you are dealing with the education people, sometimes your e-business process can be easy because they know how to deal with you. So, those are the limitations and also the factors that you have to consider. Technology. Development in technology affect all aspects of business through reducing cost, improving quality and leading to innovation and new product development. So, when the organization is going to develop in new technology, that mainly the effect to the organization. That can reduce the cost. So, earlier that in order to process one thing, so you had to spend about 1000 rupees. Now, in order to do the same process by using the technology, you can cut it down to 500 rupees. So, your cost is minimized now. So, improving quality. So, quality can be improved in the product by using the technology. So, leading to innovation, new innovation can be done. So, not only relying on one product based on the requirement of the customers. So, you can do many innovations, new product developments. So, technological development can result in new product and services. It means the new technology that you are going to implement in the organization, and that can affect to product and services. Method of producing and providing products and services could lead to change in the organization cost base. So, especially as I said you, the cost incurred in developing a product which can be affected. So, sales channel. So, e-commerce and media for communicating, internet, social media. So, there are different channels. So, you can use those channels for selling your goods. So, those are the additions that given by this technology innovations. So, way to analysis market. So, through the data mining, through the big data, so we analyze the consumers behavior and also the products that the certain region will buy, and based on the data, so we can decide the what products has to be marketed in that region. Organization structures to exploit technology, for example, remote working grant greater integration across the supply chain. Normally in the supply chain nowadays that has increased, that has given much more opportunities in the technological side. So, technology is used heavily. So, now it is going in a very good manner rather than in early days. So, in the organization the structure sometimes that has to be changed with the supply chain. Environment. The environmental factors. This can include public concern for natural environment, corporate social responsibility and sustainability. So, these things, the environmental factors which highlighted here. So, that will affect to the organization. And corporate social responsibility, normally organization has to concern about CSR projects, the corporate social responsibility. They have to concern about the corporate social environment when they are dealing with the customers. Most of the organizations have been given some benefit if they have by the government, if they are engaging in social responsibilities. And sustainability. The sustainability of the organization, and those are the things that given here. So, environmental factors can operate at local level, national level, global level. The environment that you are talking here is that that can be as local. So, if you are going to launch a product to a local market, the information that you have gained should be focused on the local market. And if you are going to a national level, you also consider about national level factors. If you are going to the global level, so you have to deal with different factors which mainly affect to the organization in environmental way. So environmental effect in the local, national and global level has to be concerned. Especially in the multinational company, that is mainly affected when they are reaching the global market, they have to position their product in the global market. So in order to position their product in globally, so what they have to do is they have to study their the environment. Otherwise, they cannot succeed in the product implementation. So there are, as I said, that there are so many opportunities and threats in the local, national and global levels. Let's say that organization home region only, across the organization home country, across number of countries. So when the product is launched from one country to another, there are so many environment factors will affect. So you have to think about those factors, especially if you are, as an normal example, that if the KFC, if they are going to launch in India, in a vegetarian country, vegetarian locations, so those all the people does not eat meats. So they use vegetable things, vegetable foods. So if you are going to launch there, can you use chicken? So those are the things that you have to concern in the environment. There are so many factors which affect to the organizer before implementing your products in the other countries, right? So legal factors can include legal matters related to employment law, anti-discrimination policies, consumer protection and health and safety law. Nowadays the health and safety law has improved in a very good way by including the new virus called COVID-19 also. So in the health and safety laws, there are so many regulations. So in order to control the people. So and also employment laws in the country that can be that can mainly affect to the organization because they are dealing with the employees. The employment laws has to be a main concern when dealing with the employees. So there can be legal, so many legal matters which come from this employment regulations and consumer protection. So when you are selling some goods to the consumer, that has to be in good quality, and there should not be any limitation, means that you cannot sell bad products. Sometimes they will go for court and the consumer will go against us. So ultimately we have to pay for the government. And sometimes as per the consumer protection law, sometimes the organization can be closed if the organization is not maintaining the proper standard in consumer protections. Limitation of pest. What are the limitations of pest? External factors are dynamic, change frequently and rapidly, and sometimes pest analysis could quickly become obsolete due to a drastic change which happen instantly in the environment. Because of that, this pest can be obsolete sometimes. Analysis will become a time consuming and costly. When you are analyzing these things as an organization, that costs some time. There is a cost involved because there are can be some people that who have to do the surveys and analysis. Then those are the limitations that this pest has. Due to the potential impact and the likelihood of occurring, the value of the analysis will be reduced. The occurring of one thing, one impact can be in many ways, so very less way. So, that can that the cost of that also can be reduced accordingly. So, the prioritizing has to be done in such cases. So, in that way, so you will have to prioritize the occurrence of the incidents. There is no guarantee that the organization will identify all the environmental factors that could affect it. So, in the environment, not only one thing, there can be so many factors which affect the organization in a positive or negative way. So, sometimes when you are analyzing those things, you cannot you can identify and you cannot analyze all the factors. Sometimes the factors will be forgetting by you. That is the limitation in PEST. In strategic planning, the strategic option determined not only by opportunities and threat in the external environment, but also by its own internal resources, competencies and capabilities. Not only the external things, the internal resources in the organization and also their capabilities and competencies as within the organization, although affected. So, sometimes there can be so many factors which affect from the PEST analysis, the items that we explain here, economic, political, legal and technology, those are the things. But not only those factors, the factors like the resource limitations of the organization and also other capabilities of the organization, that also limit the organization to success in the market. Delphi method. What is the Delphi method is? So, in Delphi method, what they does is, they give a, in this pictorial view, that the explanation given here, you can identify it, you can understand it. First is there is a facilitator. Let us see, there is a one guy who is the facilitator. He give one questionnaire or asking some feedback from some expert. So, there can be so many experts here. What they does is, they give the one thing to assess from the pool of expert. So, they give so many different ideas, right. They will summarize it, but no one knows each other of the individual ideas, the expert feedback. So, that will be given to a facilitator again. So, what the facilitator does is, he collect those all the information, the expert feedback given these people, and then he summarized it. Then once it is summarized, he shown it to all the people here. Then all of them will read and understand each and every person's ideas and feedback as a summary, but it does not mention about the individual names. So, again the task is given to these people, then what they does is, they again do their feedback, then give to this facilitator. Facilitator again summarize and give it to them. Then again they will write down the feedback by considering all the factors which is summarized there and give the answer to them. Then based on their the feedback, the cream of feedback, ultimately that this facilitator is taken, that will be taken into preparation of the report. So, that report can be given to the senior management. So, this is called the Delphi technique. In Delphi technique, facilitator is there, the feedback is summarized. Initially, as you know that when someone asks you to give a feedback of Dell computer, let us say Dell, So you will be giving so many things. Delhi is not good. So many things. And someone else is giving information like Dell has this kind of infrastructure inbuilt inside this processor, and this processor does this kind of things. When compared with the other processors in other computers brands, that does not give such fast speed. So there can be so many things. So all when it comes to the facilitator summarizes, then that the one person who gave the negative feedback can understand, okay, what the other individuals has said is correct, I am wrong. Then again he is doing his changing his feedback. That's the way that the quality feedback is taken by this facilitator at the end. The defining characteristics of the Delphi techniques are as follows. Participants are expert in their field. So, participants must be very expert. So, in this group you cannot put people who doesn't have the knowledge in the field. So, you have to put the very good knowledgeable people. The technique uses a series of rounds or iteration where information is given back to the participant for review. So there can be so many rounds, though that is actually time consuming. Participants work anonymously. So anonymously these participants are working, they don't know each other. So and also future work. So in this the link that you can take step by step approach for Delphi technique. So you can refer to that in your free time. Triggers. What are triggers? What has been triggered you to? I'll ask a simple question. What has been triggered you to do accounting? So you are an accounting guy. So you want to be an accountant. What triggers you to be an accountant? So you get the idea what I am telling, right? The word that trigger, what triggers you to become an accountant? That is, sometimes accountants are getting higher salaries, they have higher demand in the market, and chartered accountants are dominating in the market, and they have a very high acceptance, higher acceptance in the market. So once I become the accountant, so my life is good. So there can be so many triggers. So what triggers you to become a chartered accountant? So I think you got the idea. So it means in order to respond effectively to those opportunities and threats, organization make changes to its current products, market, processes. In this way, the environment can act as a trigger for change in the organization. As I said you that what change you to become what affect you to what trigger you to become an accountant. Likewise, what environment factors triggers for the change in the organization. There can be so many environment factors that has triggered the organization to go in e-commerce, go in e-business. So earlier that the everything was manually, so they triggers that what triggers us if they go in e-business, they can expand it to global market. So global market factor has triggered them to go in e-business. The triggers are motivators which stimulate individuals to learn. In turn, it serves as a motivating tool to stimulate organization to learn. So it's an influential tool that actually triggers. So trigger is a stimulation. Stimulation means that influence, that force you, that pose you, that will tell you you have to do this one, you have to do this one based on the benefit of the trigger, that it motivates you to act. So organization also, there can be so many stimulations that stimulates the organization to expand their products. So, there can be direct triggers, indirect triggers are stimuli that immediately and obviously impact behavior. So, direct triggers obviously impact the behavior. Indirect triggers takes roundabout route to influence our behavior, because it takes a long route, the indirect triggers. The direct trigger directly impact to us. As an example, if you see your family photo, it triggers thought and memories, and you remember to call your sister. So, when you see your family photo, that memorize about your sister or brother. So, then what you do is you are going to call to your sister or brother. So, what is triggered? The photo has triggered you to think about and then call to your sister. So, that is a simple example you can take. Now you have a good understanding about what is the trigger is. What is indirect triggers? Indirect triggers take a roundabout route to influence the behavior. So, it does not directly does, as I explained you in this photo, it indirectly triggers you to call to your sister. So, change in the economic cycle. Indirect triggers that change in the economic cycle. So, economic cycle of the organizations, that is to be changed with the impact of indirect triggers. Example, economic downturn, recovery from recession into a period of economic growth, either domestically or internationally. So, there can be economic downturn, and because of the economic downturn, so you have to think about some kind of things. So, let us say during this situation, the government, the economy of the Sri Lanka has gone down, and the dollar price rate also goes up. So, that is the inflation that going up. So, that triggers you to what? That indirectly that triggers, right? That indirectly due to coronavirus, economic is going down. So, that indirectly triggers you to do something better to survive in the market. New laws, so change in customer expectation and taste. So, there can be so many expectation of the customer, so many tastes, new laws can be there. As example, car manufacturer are moving towards producing more environmental friendly cars in response to a customer concern about carbon emission pollution. So, everybody is concerned about pollutions now. So, as this example says, because of pollution that triggers the Toyota company, let us say Toyota company, that carbon emission pollution has triggered, indirectly triggers the Toyota company to manufacture environmental friendly cars. Changes in product or process technology. So, example, the impact of faster communication and digital download on the music and film entertainment industries. In the downloading and the film entertainment industry, that most of the things are now downloadable. That mechanism has indirectly triggers you to process in new technology in your organization. Changes in products or process technology. So, in order to change the product or process, so there can be so many factors influence you to do it, that is indirect manner, indirect triggers. Changes in communication medias, in particular the growth of e-business and e-commerce. So, that e-business and e-commerce has triggers, indirectly triggers due to change in the communication medias. Direct triggers. What are the direct triggers? Direct triggers are stimuli that stimulate immediately and obviously impact behavior. That is actually directly impacting. That is a direct stimuli. So, we talk about this one in this example. So, arrival of new entrants into the market. So, there can be a new arrival that directly triggers you to do new technologies, to new development in order to survive with this, in order to compete with these new entrants. So, between the existing competitors in the industry, so there can be huge competitions. So, in order to compete in the competition, so with the new entrants, so that directly triggers the organization to develop some new products, enter into the market as with new products, right. So, changes in level of competition. Changes in what? The competition. There is a huge competition in the industry. So, promoting a need to gain or protect market share. Especially this protecting market share is a very good factor that most of the organization is concerning. Sometimes from the small age of the organization to when it become elder, let us say that after about 20 years of duration in dealing in the industry as a very good brand. So, that brand name has a very good value, that has acquired a very good market share in the industry. Let us say Toyota or Toyota car or so Mitsubishi, there are so many brands. So, those people have acquired a market share. So, those companies are protecting their market share, they are doing different activities in order to protect the market share, otherwise they will be losing the market. So, that changes in the level of competition, based on the competition that that triggers, because there can be more competition. Changes in supply chain or distribution network. So, distributor network will be a new trigger, direct trigger, because you know that in order to join in the e-business industry, you must have a proper channel of distribution, supply chain. So, now it is changed widely. So, there are different channel of distribution that you can use. So, if you can deliver the goods in a very fast way, it means you have achieved. So, that directly triggers you. I think that you got a very good idea. Globalization. What is globalization? Everybody know about this word, I think, because now you can read the globalization through internet. Is that? Yes. Globalization opened up opportunities for organization to ship production internationally. When you reach the international market, you have to understand the environment and the countries that you are going to launch the products, and the customers who are involved there and their behavior, and then you are going to sell the product to the other countries. So, then you are globalized, you are implementing the launching the product globally. So, that is meaning by globalization. So, there is a very good the word called supply chain, that is the main thing in globalization. In order to, when you are globalized, when your product is globalized, what you have to do is you have to sell the product to a person in some other country. Let's say in Sri Lankan company which is globalized, so they are reaching the international market, they want to sell a product to the Australian guy. So what you have to do is you have to sell the product, you must have a proper distribution channel. So supply chain, you have to send the products to the person. So that will be the change in your organization. So you must engage with proper distribution channel. So it's not easy to manage. So there should be a proper managerial skill implemented by the organization in order to survive in this globalized market, international market. What is this natural environment? Is threat of climate change and global warming will force organization to change their behavior. So because of climate change, let's say tomorrow the cyclone came, then day after tomorrow, what will happen to the market that you are leading? Sometimes you don't have any business, any sales. So that's a threat. And global warming, if the warming is going up, so there can be so many influences coming from that in order to change in your market. Sometimes you will have to create new products which suit for the global warming and also for the climate change. So organization has to change their behavior according to the natural environment. So natural environment will be changing day by day. So organization has to be concerned about the changes of the natural environment, then adapt to the natural environment with your product implementation. So that is called their change in behavior in the natural environment. Change in workplace structures. What is change in workplace structure? You working from home. This model is changing to one where an increasing number of organizations are using a mix of co or peripheral workforce. For example, using home workers and outsourcing their labor requirement to certain services. So sometimes when you are implementing a e-business strategy, what you have to do is you have to change your workplace structure, and also the people who are working, they don't need to exist in the office environment. They can be at home, they can work from their home, and also some of the requirement to process the selling to sell the product to the customer. So you will have to outsource some kind of things. Sometimes you will have to outsource the labor work. So there can be certain number of requirement that has to be changed when working in the e-business. So changing workplace structure means that, because in the workplace the structure sometimes you will have to change. Sometimes you will have to recruit new people who are technologically sound, and also you can outsource regional people, those who can work from home. Let's say in Jaffna area, in order to handle the Jaffna area, you can change the structure. Virtual business. Virtual business conduct all or most of its business via the internet, does not have physical person to interact with customers face to face. This was earlier explained. We explained this earlier. So virtual business, that is there is no any locations premise that is present in the internet, and virtual organization, they do not require any premise. They were regionally, geographically, they are connected to each other. They can do their business via internet. E-marketplace types, function and features. What are the e-marketplace types and function and features? Disintermediations. What are these disintermediation? Is the removal of intermediaries in a supply chain that formally link a company to its customer. Deal with every customer directly via internet without intermediaries such as distributors, wholesalers, brokers and agents. So when you want to buy a product, you will have to connect with distributors, wholesalers, brokers or agent, and in return you will be paying some amount to these people. So in disintermediation that is removing those intermediaries. As an example, Dell computers have taken this option and they have removed any intermediaries from their downstream supply chain. Bypass publishers to get a book printed, and gambling is being changed by online. So from this real example of Dell, that if you want to buy a product from the Dell, you can order it through the Dell website. So intermediary people has been removed. If you purchase one let's say one computer, that will cost more sometimes because you will have to pay for the distribution channel. So if you purchase about 100 computers, the cost will be minimized because you will have to pay for the distribution channel only one time. So that the distribution channel cost is shared. So as a wholesaler what they does is they order many computers and they stock it and sell it, then the prices can be lower. So in this mechanism they are removing the intermediaries. So traditional and e-market value chain, it is explained here. So you can just looking at here that you can understand author, publisher, wholesaler, retailer and consumer. In Amazon how it goes. Reintermediation. Reintermediation is the establishment of new intermediary roles, right? So for traditional intermediaries, that for disintermediation. These new intermediaries do one of the two things. Provide customers with new important value added services. What they do? They provide value added services, not provide in the new direct customer supply relationship. An example, Kelco, which shopping price comparison search engine. Provide customers with more efficient means of transacting business. Let's say that when you are implemented the e-business, so you have to engage with intermediate platforms like price comparison search engines, and those are the things that you have to engage in order to sell your products. So those are called the reintermediations. So you are establishing new intermediary roles into your process. So price, that if somebody wants to compare the price in your website, that you are engaged with some other supplier, that is the company which has the price comparison search engine. It is inbuilt in your system, in the website, so customers can compare the prices. Examples like cyber intermediaries or intermediaries offering value added services to customers and vendors over the internet. So these are the examples. Counter intermediation. Counter intermediation is the creation of a new intermediary by an established company in order to compete via e-business with established intermediacy. What are like Opodo is an online travel agency which offers a deal in regular and character flight, low cost airlines, hotels, cruise cars, rental, dynamic. So when you are ordering, when you are booking your air ticket, then that will deal with other hotels, cars, rental places, and so many holiday packages. So that give you so many other advantages as well. So that is called counter intermediation, that the organization is creating of new intermediary by established company in order to compete by e-business. So if you are only giving a kind of booking air ticket, what will happen? They have to book the air ticket, then they have to purchase the what you call book the hotel and also book the car, because you have to you want to travel when you landed to the country. So if those are engaged together, what will happen is that will show the closest hotels or the cars that you can you can book from the one website. So those are the counter intermediations. E-marketplace. What are these types? E-tailers. Who are these e-tailers? You know what is retailer is. Only the new word is e. So the same concept here. The e-tailers. As an example, Amazon is a e-tailer. By starting out as simply a bookshop on the web, it has added a variety of products and type of services. Teco is an offline retailer which is offering web-based order and delivery services. If you want to go to a web bookshop, that the bookshop retailer, so what it does is you have to go to the bookshop, you have to select the book and purchase it. That is the retailer. Then what is e-tailer? The same thing you can do using the web. In the website, it's a retail bookshop. So you go there, you go inside and select the book and purchase. That will come to you. So I think you can understand about this now. What is this? Malls. Malls are sites that group together different online store as tenant. Mall provides cyber infrastructure but do not own inventory or sell product directly. In shopping malls, there can be so many sellers. If you go to this new shopping mall in Goldpace, one Goldpace, there are so many sellers. So you have to, you don't, that as a company, the shopping mall is a company. That company does not need to have any inventory. The only what they does is they provide the premise. Then other people are involved in the other sellers, other companies are involving and selling the products. So that has a different stores. So in the same thing which is happening in manual way can be in online way as well, online in the web as well. So there can be so many different online stores in a shopping mall. Let's say there's a website. So the website name is One Goldface Mall. So you go log into that. There are so many different suppliers, different companies who are selling their products. So you go to their products and select the product and purchase it. Auction site. such as eBay. eBay is an auction site. In the eBay you can bid and purchase it. So those are the new things in the e-marketplace. Publisher website. So are traffic generators that offer content of interest to customer. That very interesting content will be published. So that publishers, they publish their website. Virtual resellers. What are the virtual resellers? You know who are the resellers is. They are intermediaries that exist to sell to consumer. They are able to obtain product directly from manufacturer who may hesitate to go directly to consumer. So fear of alienating retailers. So what they does is that normally there are some manufacturers. The reseller, what they does is they go and buy the products in bulk form. They purchase lot of products. From one item they purchase about 1,000. Then they will be getting more discounts. So in virtual resellers also, they are the people who buy the products, obtain the products from the manufacturer and sell it. Sometimes they will be paying in cash basis, sometimes credit basis, and they get the products and sell it to the consumer. So virtually there are can be some consumer resellers in web presence. So website evaluators. Direct consumers to a producer site via a new type of site that offers some form of evaluation. So your websites also can be evaluated, right? So likewise the website evaluators are there. Forum, fans club and user groups can play a large role in facilitating customer producer feedback and supporting market research. You know that forums, those are the fan clubs, user groups, those are in the in Facebook also there are some forums, right? And also there are forums in the, let's say, accountant forums can be there somewhere, and accountant fan clubs, accountant user groups are there. Those who are doing the audit can be a user group. So there can be so many kind of such facilities. Financial intermediaries. Any form of e-commerce will require some means of making or authorizing payment from buyers to seller. So it means the buyer is the person who is buying that from the seller through the website. You have to buy it. So then there should be authorized payment gateways. So there are some PayPal and there are some kind of payment intermediaries. So those are the intermediaries mentioned in the financial environment. So let's talk about stages of growth model. What is the stages of growth model? Several stage models have been proposed for assessing maturity of capabilities. The maturity level of the organization. So that assess the maturity level. Such model can also be used as guides to future development. So these models that can be used by the organization for their development, for their future development. That's a guide that these models are giving. So there are stages of growth model. So we'll learn about this now. So stage 1, present, content, window to the web, no integration, email. So content is there, that is present. There is a window to the web, so web is there. So it is the stage 1, that is the present. Or through emails you can communicate. So that is the web present to the market. And set 2, portals, provide two-way communication, email or placing, cookies, no online financial transaction. The cookies I will explain in some other slide. Yes. Email order placing, so through the emails you can order the goods. So two-way communication is there from the supplier to the buyer. A profile of the customers and also the sellers. So this is the stage 2, that is the portal. So there can be a portal like that. So stage 3, transaction integration. So there is an integration pass. The transaction process has to be integrated. So B2B, B2C communities. So B2B, business to consumer, and business to business. Those two people can involve. And e-marketplace auctions. There can be a e-marketplace for auctions for selling goods. Third party e-marketplace. There can be a third marketplace also. Low level collaboration and online financial transaction, and the collaboration can be in a lower level, and online financial transaction can be happen. So this is the transaction level. So transaction is integrated now. Now we have passed the web presence. Present about the organization is the present, is the availability. Then the portal. So what is the way of doing that? And also the integration. Then company integration. This is business to business, stage 4. B2B full integration can be there. E-business use the e-commerce system to manage CRM and supply chain. So using e-business, that the e-commerce system will be there to manage customer relationship management and supply chain. Value chain integration can be there, and also high level collaborations with business to business. So these are the 4 stages of growth model. Sometimes in the question paper as answers, these 4 stages will be given as person, portal, transaction integration, company integration. So what is the 4 stages of growth model? So you will have to select the appropriate answer like that. The stages of approach useful for several purposes. The stages approach is why it is useful for several approaches. Let's talk about. I am not going to detail much more about this one. So by looking at this one also you can understand it. So I will highlight the keywords here. So from using the keyword you can easily identify. A small or medium sized enterprise may use it for comparison with its major competitors. It may indicate gap and lead to strategic decision. Thus, there can be major competitors. So that model, the stages approach is used for comparison with major competitors. So and it can provide the roadmap to assist companies to determine whether or not it is sensible to progress to subsequent stage. From going stage 1 to another, that provide the, let's say you are going from stage 1 to another, that provide a roadmap, right, to progress in the next stage. It can help explain past, current and future involvement in e-business. In the future involvement, what will be the e-business platforms and past experience you have and current and also future. So, there can be so many involvement in past, current and future, that will be explained here. It can be used for guidance and direction as to where to proceed further. So, that stages approach will provide a guidance, reduce the complexity. So, that reduce the complexity, that given stages of approach, identify phases of development. In the each phases, the development can be identified. So, milestone can be identified by the management and control cost. So, allow for alteration during the development process. In the development process, you can do so many changes. So, cost can be also controlled. So, those are the things that useful information. You can get an idea about the stages of growth from this information. New type of intermediary. Search engine and directories. So, there are search engines such as Google, that these are the actually search engines that you have seen that in some of the organization website, they have given a small place where you can search. When you search there, it goes to Google. So, there are some directories that provide that direct you to search. So, search engines such as Google provide search facility based on data generated by software engines that search the web. And when you search within the web also, that is given. Actually, that if you search in the Google about by using some keyword, they will direct that will direct to some website. So, that website is not the main page. So, they will be directed to some other pages of the website. It means through the search engines that is customized. So, they are searching page by page. Auction. The reverse auction site allows consumer to specify an item they wish to purchase, allowing producers and other to bid. So, auction sites are there. So, you can integrate those things also in the as intermediary. Portal provide a gateway to the web and may also offer sign posting, selected links and other services to attract users. In order to attract users, in the portal that we can use so many things like posting and links can be given. And enterprise information portal, which is an organization home page for employees including corporate information and selected links. There can be a enterprise information portal. Through that you can go to the other pages of the website. So, what is web portal is? Web portal is your website. The web portal software help you to bring information from multiple sources together. So, there can be a web portal for SMEs, and inside the web portal there can be a sales portal, project management portal, customer portal, likewise. Consumer online behavior and technology adoption. So, online behavior and the technology. So, companies can use data about social trend and consumer behavior to create new product and services to meet customer needs. In order to meet the customer needs, that creates new product and services. So you have to identify the social trend, consumers' behavior. So all these things are due to technological adaptations. So in order to enhance the existing product and services, this technology can be adapted. So consumers' online behavior can be measured. So big data is a common thing that could be used to provide new business opportunities in its own right. So as example, we can say that Facebook's advertising business incorporates analysis of user actions as well as their friends' action. So through the technologies, when you post something in your website, in your Facebook page, so every company now has a Facebook page. In there, what we do is that we post something that their friends also can see, the user's friend also can see. And Amazon is another example, could be seen as an example for a company which has built its business strategy using data and analytics. For example, through the way it makes recommendations. These recommendations, this is highly accepted by the community of e-business. So when the people are dealing with companies through website, when they want to buy products, what they are seeing is they see the recommendation. Who has recommended the products? So that is the behavior impacted in e-business. So the customers can feed some information as recommendations, and also customers link to the purchases made by other customers with similar interests. So there are different ways of recommending, and also link it other purchases, and friend actions, posting in the Facebook as advertising tools, and those are the consumer behavior in online platform. All this happen because of technology involvement. If you let's see that if you do not have such a technology spread all over the world, so it is very difficult to advertise your product, and consumer behavior has to be identified in this implementation of e-business. Web 2.0 technology. This is a technical thing. So initially when I am explaining this, you will not be able to understand, but when it goes up, that automatically I think you will be able to understand that. Okay, what is Web 2.0 technologies? Web 2.0 is the terms used to describe a variety of website, an application that allow anyone to create and share online information. There are two key things, that is create and share online information by anyone. You know that in Facebook you have created your page, Facebook page. So you have your own page. There are so many customization you can do. You can restrict some users, some friends, and you can create things, and you can post new things, and you can share others information as well. If somebody has posted something in the Facebook, that can be shareable. So a key element of technology is that it allows people to create, share, collaborate and communicate. There is another two things, create, share and collaborate and communicate. So the collaborativeness is there with each other, and communicate, and next communicate. In the Web 2.0 technology is that allow you to create by your own decisions and share that as you wish, and collaborate and communicate. So, major differences between Web 1.0 and 2.0 is that Web 2.0 enables users to create, share, collaborate, communicate their work with others with any need of any web design or publishing skill. You do not need any web design skill, you do not need any publishing skill. You can create your content as you want. Like as an example, you know that Facebook, in the Facebook, you can design your website as you want. In LinkedIn, and those are the Facebook has used the Web 2.0 technology, LinkedIn, and so most of the other platform are using the Web 2.0 technologies. Then they can create, share and collaborate and communicate. They can design by their own. And advantages of Web 2.0 is available at any time, any place, and variety of media, easy of use. It is very flexible. You can use as you want. You don't need to learn much more things. Just you need to browse the internet. Learners can actively be involved in knowledge building and can create dynamic learning communities. Everybody is the author and the editor. Every edit that has been made can be tracked. User friendly, it provides real time discussion. So, when you read these advantages, I think your mind goes to the Facebook. So, Facebook has all of these things that has used the Web 2.0 technology. I think that this session that we will conclude with this side. So, we started with the Web 2.0 technologies. So, we will start from the next slide. From the next slide with the next session. So, up to now that in this chapter, the Web 2.0 technology is a very good example, and is a good technique that technology used in the e-business, and these are the advantages. You can remember those things. So, we will stop this session up in this slide, and we will join with the next session with the next slide. Thank you.